2018 Porsche 911 Coupe Review. The good points of Porsche 911 Coupe: superb performance throughout the range, genuine everyday usability, brilliant handling, styling has evolved nicely, surprisingly good fuel economy on Carrera versions. The bad points of Porsche 911 Coupe: back seats unsuitable for adults, high servicing and maintenance costs, cruise control and parking sensors not standard. You'll fight to get your hands on some pricier versions. Over recent years, the Porsche 911 Coupe range is continuing to grow into precisely what is now a wide array of performance models, between everyday sports cars to 700 horsepower trackwatchy weapons of uncompromising speed and excitement. And yet, in this time, the standard formula has evolved little. Rather than overhaul the rear-engined, rear-wheel drive blueprint that Porsche struggled much with in earlier years of production, the German manufacturer went on to hone and polish its flagship model into one of many finest performance cars on discount sales today. Now it is sold over the million of which. What makes all of this the more impressive is always that such success comes amid intense competition from rivals, for example the Jaguar F-Type, Mercedes-Benz AMG GT and Lexus LC, in addition to contemporaries further within the scale such as Audi R8, McLaren 570 GT and Ferrari 488 GTB. Why should we rate the Porsche 911 so highly? Watch on. Outstanding performance and handling across an assorted range of cars. The Porsche 911 range is made up of regular, road-focused sports cars including the Carrera, Carrera S and Carrera GTS, the supercar quick turbo series and uncompromising track-focused thoroughbreds, for example the Gt3 and Gt2 Rs models. And yet, its area of the 911's appeal that exceptional performance and handling characteristics span the full range, irrespective of which model you acquire. It doesn't matter whether you're purchasing a top-of-the-range Gt2 Rs or lowering costs than half just as much on a base Carrera, all models are superb drive-in automobile. Porsche 911 engines are flat six-cylinder units of varying displacement, although all produce some time to power. The basic level Carrera, by way of example, delivers 370 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque from the turbocharged 3.0-liter, figures that happen to be dwarfed because of the flagship Gt2 Rs's 700 horsepower 3.8-liter twin turbocharged powerplant. Most versions of 911 can be purchased with a collection of 7-speed manual or 7-speed automatic PDK transmission and rear or all-wheel drive. Purists will like the former of each and every option, although for models like the 911 Turbo and Turbo S, just the automatic transmission or wheel drive configuration is accessible. Everyday usability. The capability to use the Porsche 911 as a possible everyday car is among the main draws for any large amount of customers. Unlike more uncompromising rivals, the non-GT 911 models are refined, maneuverable and economical enough to use using a daily basis. Opt for just a regular Carrera and claimed average fuel economy figures of 34 miles per gallon mean a theoretical selection of almost 500 miles, while comparatively low CO2 emissions mean plenty will make use of the 911 as being a company car. Decent practicality, for just two. While a combined luggage capacity of 405 liters, bigger than a Volkswagen Golf's boot with all the seats up, is surprisingly generous, the promise of 4 seats is often a false dawn. Even together with the front seats moved forward, it's better to keep the trunk seats a child-only zone. Handy then, that 2 Isofix points are fitted as standard towards the 911's rear seats. Up front there's enough space for 2 main adults, although storage can be a little tight on account of a small glove box and door pockets. The intricate fold-out cup holder design needs to be applauded, a minimum of until it snaps off. Watch out for missing equipment. Porsche 911 customers could well be forgiven for convinced that splashing out north of £100,000 with a car will bring a certain amount of standard equipment. And while all 911s possess the bare essentials, features like cruise control and parking sensors are not designed as standard on many models. Remember, although you do not believe they may be essential, paying a compact amount extra for such additions can make your car very much easier to sell once the time comes. Latest deals from BUIAC are: Porsche 911, 991, Carrera Cabrio, £85,900, or £1,212 each month. Porsche 911, 991, Turbo Coupe S, £144,990, or £2,220 a month. See all deals on Porsche 911. Representative example: representative APR of 7.9%, borrowing £10,509 over 48 months on HP type finance. The total amount payable could be £250 30 days, using a total cost of credit of £1,483 plus a total amount payable of £11,992. Dennis BUIAC Car Limited, 3132 Alfred Place, London, WC1E7DP, GB09151058, is really a credit broker regulated by FCA, FRN 667368. The verdict: Porsche has produced over 1,911s ever since the first generation has been available since the 1960s, and it's easy to see why. Few cars can boast a real broad variety of talents, from daily sports car by means of the Carrera to your 700 horsepower track-focused monster inside Gt2 Rs. Regardless one's version you purchase, you're guaranteed a vehicle that's near the top of its class. Just remember to feel the spec carefully and be sure that you've got the many equipment you may need, whilst keeping an open mind with regards to servicing and maintenance costs. And carrying a lot more than two adults. Porsche 911 Coupe review, plus individual road tests around the 911R, 911 Turbo S, 911 50th Anniversary Edition and many other. 3 different engines being offered with multiple power outputs. 2 different gearboxes, 7-speed manual and PDK auto. And 2 different drivetrains, rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Porsche 911 engines range coming from a 3.0-litre flat-six inside base Carrera into a 4.0-litre naturally aspirated, non-turbocharged, unit within the Gt3 Trackwatch version. All ones are located on the rear wheels with the car. Drivetrains inside the 911 consist of standard rear-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, while 2 gearbox choices also available, a 7-speed manual and also a 7-speed PDK automatic. Porsche 911 Carrera Coupe and Carrera 4 Coupe Performance. All current Porsche 911 Carreras are powered with a flat-six 3.0-litre turbocharged engine, putting together a number of different power outputs. Regular 911 Carreras are rear-wheel drive, while Carrera 4s are all-wheel drive. The base 911 Carrera has 370 horsepower and 450 Nm of torque, giving a 0 to 62 mph use of 4.6 seconds, 4.4 while using 7-speed dual-clutch PDK transmission, as well as a top speed of 183 mph, 182 mph using the auto. Opt for that all-wheel drive Carrera 4 version and 0 to 62 mph takes 4.5 seconds, 4.3 together with the auto, plus the top speed is 181 mph, 180 using the auto. Porsche 911 Carrera S Coupe and Carrera 4S Coupe Performance. Move up to your 911 Carrera S and power increases to 420 horsepower, while torque jumps to 500 Nm. As an effect, 0 to 62 mph is undertaken in 4.3 seconds, 4.1 together with the auto gearbox, and top speed is 191 mph, 190 mph with all the auto. The all-wheel drive Carrera S, named the Carrera 4S, is fractionally quicker to 62 miles per hour, shaving a tenth of a second off of the manual and auto Carrera S times. Top speed for your manual Carrera 4S is 190 miles per hour, while using auto competent at 188 miles per hour. Porsche 911 Carrera T Performance. Introduced in October 2017, the Carrera T means touring, is lighter version with the regular Carrera, which comes with a selection of extra standard kit, like the Sport Chrono package, see below. As an end result, 0 to 62 miles per hour is usually a shade faster as opposed to Carrera at 4.5 seconds, 4.2 while using optional automatic gearbox. Porsche claims the superior speed on both transmission variants to stay in excess of 180 miles per hour. Porsche 911 Carrera Gts Performance. Next inside the hierarchy will be the 911 Carrera GTS, producing 450 horsepower and 550 Nm of torque. Such power means 0 to 62 miles per hour takes just 4.1 seconds, 3.7 with all the auto gearbox, and top speed is 194 miles per hour, 193 while using auto. Porsche 911 Sport Chrono package. The Sport Chrono package is accessible on Carrera, Carrera 4, Carrera S and Carrera 4S, standard on Carrera GTS and Carrera 4 GTS variants. It includes dynamic engine mounts, analog and digital stopwatches mounted within the interior along with a mode switch within the steering to flick between normal, Sport and Sport Plus drive setups. Engage Sport Plus mode on 911 Carreras having an automatic gearbox fitted and acceleration times are fractionally improved, because of engine, gearbox, suspension and, when fitted, all-wheel drive settings being optimized. A Sport response button is usually fitted on automatic cars, allowing 20-second bursts of maximum acceleration, helpful for overtaking. Porsche 911 Turbo Performance. All Porsche 911 Turbo variants come as standard having a 3.8-litre twin-turbocharged flat-six engine, teamed having a 7-speed dual-clutch PDK transmission and all-wheel drive. Unsurprisingly, this may cause for scarcely believable numbers of performance. In 911 turbo form, the vehicle produces 540 horsepower and 710 Nm of torque, enough for just a 0 to 62 miles per hour duration of 3.0 seconds along with a top speed of 199 miles per hour, plumped to the 911 Turbo S, and power is bumped nearly 580 horsepower. That means 0 to 62 miles per hour takes just 2.9 seconds. With top speed rated at 205 miles per hour, torque is 750 Nm. Porsche 911 Gt3 Performance. The 911 Gt3 can be a rear-wheel drive track-focused version with the model, boasting reduced weight as well as a 4.0-litre naturally aspirated, non-turbocharged, 6-cylinder boxer engine. Again, there's a selection of manual or automatic gearbox, although former differs for the majority on the range when you are a 6-speed unit. This produces 500 horsepower and 460 Nm of torque, with 0 to 62 miles per hour taking 3.9 seconds inside the manual and 3.4 seconds inside 7-speed PDK automatic. Top speed is 199 miles per hour and 198 miles per hour respectively. Porsche 911 Gt2 Rs Performance. The 911 Gt2 Rs could be the fastest and a lot powerful 911 discounted. Producing 700 horsepower and 750 Nm of torque. Looking at the 3.8-litre twin-turbocharged flat-six engine, the Gt2 Rs is rear-wheel drive just with power being sent by way of a 7-speed double-clutch automatic transmission. The sprint from 0 to 62 miles per hour has a staggering 2.7 seconds to finish, while top speed is rated at 211 miles per hour. Engines no more available. Engines not available inside the Porsche 911 range from the base 3.4-litre flat-six inside the Carrera and Carrera 4, along with the 3.8-litre unit within the Carrera S and Carrera 4S. Both were naturally aspirated engines, offering a noticeably different driving experience towards the turbocharged powerplants inside current range. The 3.4-litre engine produced 350 horsepower and 390 Nm of torque, even though the 3.8-litre version managed 400 horsepower and 440 Nm of torque. Acceleration and 0 to 62 mph times varied from version to version, while using Carrera 4S automatic delivering the most beneficial performance in some recoverable format. With a finite run of models, the Porsche 911 Turbo S exclusive series was the other most powerful variant offered, producing 607 horsepower and 750 Nm of torque. Gains are fairly marginal when it reaches this end with the power spectrum, meaning 0 to 62 mph and top speed are unchanged on the Turbo S. Another special edition, the 911R, sold out almost instantly, largely because fabulous naturally aspirated straight 6 4.0-litre engine. It produced 500 horsepower and 460 Nm of torque, giving a 0 to 62 mph use of just 3.8 seconds along with a top speed of 201 mph, superb overall handling. Suitable for some driver skill sets. Easy to operate a vehicle around town. As with performance, the Porsche 911's handling is exceptional through the range, no mean feat when there's this kind of broad spectrum of engines and drivetrains being offered. All models now take advantage of Porsche Adaptive Suspension Management, PASM, that cuts down on ride height by 10 mm and gives the automobile a lower center of gravity. The 911 boasts exceptional agility and responsiveness and rewards drivers of the abilities. However, despite its immense grip and poise, it's just like a hot hatch which you could simply throw it in a corner and marvel since it pulls you through. To get the most beneficial out on the 911, drivers' movements have to be smooth and deliberate, not only a hard task in the event the control weights are also judged as these are. Rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? All-wheel drive is standard or optional while using the majority of engine variants within the 911, and supplies an extra layer of security on the overall drive. It's definitely not essential. All 911s that come while using option of wheel drive are perfectly manageable beasts and rear-wheel drive guys, but does make performance more usable in wet conditions. Even with all-wheel drive fitted, however, the 911's power is directly firmly on the back on the car, meaning there exists plenty of scope for keen drivers to obtain fun around the right little bit of tarmac. Sport suspension and ceramic composite brakes. One of the greater popular options about the Porsche 911 will be the electronically variable active damping system, reducing the ride height by 20 mm, 10 mm greater than when fitted with PASM, and adding two selectable suspension modes, normal and sport. This actively works to enhance the car's handling and cruising capabilities through getting the driver to choose from two different firmness settings to the chassis, depending within the conditions. The 911's standard brakes are stronger compared to those found around the vast tastes other cars about the road. However, should customers wish, optional ceramic composite brakes, limited with 20-inch alloys, offer much more impressive stopping power and greater durability. If you plan to look at your 911 on the right track, we'd recommend the uprated brakes. Rear wheel steering and Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control, PDCC. Available just as one option, or as standard on selected models, rear axle steering functions improve the vehicle's turning circle at low speeds and improve stability at high speeds. The effect is noticeable, although drivers will marvel with the increased low-speed maneuverability. Also offered using a number of variants is Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control that contributes active roll stabilization on the 911's selection of tech made to improve handling. Essentially, the system actively works to optimize the camber of the wheel when cornering. This provides greater stability and also a more direct initial transform into the bend. Front axle lift. High-end sports cars and speed humps come with an uneasy relationship thanks to your former's low front end along with the latter's tendency to scrape low-slung fancy car. Luckily, however, The 911 is available having a hydraulic lift system that raises the leading axle by approximately 30 mm, approximately speeds of 21 miles per hour, parking the 911. Visibility in the 911 is surprisingly good for this kind of low car, however we'd still recommend opting to the optional back and front parking sensors. Excellent driving position. Functional, well-built cabin. Good all-round visibility. Despite there like a vast array of different 911 derivatives, the knowledge from driving differs little from version to version. More expensive track-focused versions may come with the roll cage and slightly different materials lining the cabin, although principal layout, driving position and excellence of materials is basically the same. Low, sporty driving position. Climb behind the wheel with the 911 and you'll immediately notice how low for the floor you sit. Such a seating position gives the automobile a sporty, involving and will also be a big contrast to anyone who's accustomed to driving around in a very high-up SUV or MPV. If you're particularly tall or short, don't worry as there's an ample array of adjustment inside seats and leather, meaning it shouldn't take an excessive amount of effort to obtain comfortable. Just please remember they aren't particularly wide, and might feel just a little tight about the sides if you're of a big build. Electrically adjustable seats can be obtained as an option of many models. Excellent visibility to get a sports car. The 911 gains advantage from an impressive number of overall visibility because of a large front windscreen with skinny pillars, as well as an easy-to-view out of rear screen, which, unusually because of this kind of car, is available that has a rear windscreen wiper. Sound all-round quality. There's a good number of buttons inside 911's interior, especially about the center console, but things are all laid out fairly logically as actually little embellishment. Sure, some rivals may boast more design flair, though the overall sense of quality inside the Porsche is second to none. Easy to make use of infotainment system. With many buttons to master it, the infotainment technique is one that can be operated fairly easily about the move. The graphics are attractive but obvious to see, plus there's a pleasing level of simplicity for the way the foremost functions work. Tasks, for example searching for just a radio station or pairing your phone, aren't unnecessarily complicated. Reasonably pliant ride. High amounts of noise from your tires. Seats are impressively comfy. Reasonable ride, although don't expect miracles. Every Porsche 911 incorporates electric adaptive dampers, or as Porsche calls it, Porsche Active Suspension Management. It incorporates two modes, normal and sport, the previous giving a softer ride quality as well as the latter a firmer, sportier feel. For a sports car delivering the volume of performance and handling that this 911 does, the ride in normal mode is often a good compromise and decent cruising ability, having a taut-feeling chassis. However, run via a pothole or sharp bridge inside the road and you will probably feel it, no matter what the suspension mode or alloy wheel size. Overall refinement disappointed by high degrees of tire roar. Wind and engine noise when cruising are generally impressively subdued, though the noise coming in the wide tires is quite noticeable, especially on road surfaces that aren't completely smooth. It's not the end from the world, but does make 911 a less suitable touring companion than many of its rivals. Seats are firm but comfy. They could be firm, though the seats are inside 911 remain comfy enough for long-distance cruising. You sit low within the car and there's an excellent selection of adjustability offered. Bear in mind which the standard seats be extreme for pricier, track-focused models. Most in the essentials are standard. Yet there are a few shocking omissions. Cruise control is just not standard. One example is all Porsche 911 designs include a similar standard equipment list, aside from some GT models that could have less kit for weight-saving reasons. Porsche 911 standard equipment. Regular 911s share largely the identical equipment list, that has a number of small changes from model to model. starting using the Carrera and Carrera 4. Equipment includes Porsche Communication Management, PCM, including iPod connectivity interface, via touch screen, and voice recognition system. Connect Plus including SatNav, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto inaccessible, 4G/LTE telephone module, with integrated SIM, and Wi-Fi, Porsche Car Connect including Car Finder, remote vehicle status, remote services and Porsche vehicle tracking system, subscription required. Note that integrated SIM includes state for navigation and infotainment services only, music streaming and Wi-Fi data and included data packages, or maybe a separate SIM has to be purchased to make use of these functions. Dual zone climate control, DAB radio, electrically adjustable heated exterior mirrors along with a heated rear screen. Sound package plus, including 8 loudspeakers having a total creation of 150 watts plus an integral amplifier and digital signal processing. Dusk sensing by xenon headlights with dynamic range adjustment. Heated front leather sports seats with electric backrest and height adjustment, split folding rear seats, sports leader, 2 12-volt sockets in passenger footwell and glove compartment. 19-inch Carrera wheels, Porsche active suspension management, PASM, adaptive damping with ride height lowered by 10 mm, tire pressure monitoring system, black 4-piston aluminium fixed black calipers back and front. Upgrade to your Carrera S and Carrera 4S and other equipment includes Porsche torque vectoring, PTV, including mechanical rear differential lock and, in conjunction while using PDK automatic gearbox, Porsche torque vectoring plus PTV plus with electronically regulated rear differential lock with fully variable torque distribution. 20-inch Carrera S wheels, red 6-piston aluminium front calipers and 4-piston aluminium rear calipers. Opt to the 911 Carrera T, and, also as equipment standard within the 911 Carrera, customers could possibly get 20-inch Carrera S alloy wheels painted in high-gloss titanium grey, sports exhaust system, Porsche active suspension management, PASM, with ride height lowered by 20 mm, Porsche torque vectoring, PTV, including a mechanically locking rear differential. Instrument cluster with central rev counter and high-definition 4.6-inch color display. 4-way electric sports seats with elevated side bolsters. No-cost options include Porsche Communication Management, PCM, mode first turn on steering wheel for selected driving modes and 12-volt sockets from the passenger footwell. Moving up on the Carrera GTS and Carrera 4 GTS ads. 20-inch 911 Turbo S forged alloy wheels in satin black, sports exhaust system, PASM sports suspension lowered by 20 mm. Sport Chrono package with mode switch and Porsche Track Precision app. Instrument cluster with central rev counter and high-resolution 4.6-inch color display. Black interior with selected components of black Alcantara plus a GT Sports controls. Upgrading to your 911 Turbo represents a large step up off their models, and, as well as Carrera 4 GTS models, bags you all-wheel drive with Porsche traction management along with the 7-speed PDK automatic gearbox, Porsche active suspension management, PASM, 20-inch forged alloy 911 Turbo wheels and Porsche active aerodynamics, PA, with automatically extending, retracting front spoiler and wing element. Front and rear parking sensors as well as a rear reversing camera, fully electric leather sports seats with 14-way adjustment, memory function for both exterior mirrors, the tire, seat settings along with car adjustments, GT Sports tire and cruise control. Bose surround sound system including 12 loudspeakers, active subwoofer and center speaker, active audio system with 555-watt overall output and audio pilot noise compensation technology. LED main headlights including Porsche Dynamic Light System, PDLS, featuring dynamic cornering lights. Multifunction instrument display. Upgrading towards the Turbo S ads. 20-inch 911 Turbo S forged alloy wheels with central locking and two-tone look, black with highly polished wheel center. Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control, PDCC, Porsche ceramic composite brake, PCCB, with yellow brake calipers. Alcantara roof lining and upper cabin trim. LED main headlights including Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus, PDLS Plus, dynamic high beam that continuously adjusts the beam length depending for the traffic situation. Leather adaptive sports seats plus with 18-way electric adjustment. Splash out over a track-focused GT3 and, furthermore, a replacement to Carrera spec, customers are certain to get. A 7-speed PDK automatic transmission with shorter gear ratios plus a sport button, Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus, PTV Plus, a flexible chassis for track use and Porsche Active Suspension Management, PASM, so that the chassis to sit down 25 mm lower towards the ground when compared on the Carrera. 20-inch silver 911 Gt3 alloy wheels created from forged alloy, 6-piston aluminium calipers at top, 4-piston in the back, both finished in red. Sport seats plus with elevated side bolsters, electric backrest and height adjustment, Gt3 sport controls. Finally, the Gt2 Rs brings standard kit, besides Gt3 spec, including 20-inch Gt2 Rs forged alloy center lock wheels in white Golf metallic at leading, and 21-inch wheels with the same style in the back. Porsche ceramic composite brake system, PCCB. Two-tone interior in black and red, Gt2 Rs sports tire and full bucket seats in carbon fiber reinforced plastic. Porsche 911 accessories. If the aforementioned does not satisfy, then Porsche even offers a whole host of alternatives on every 911 model. These range between comfort-enhancing options, for instance, fully electric 14-way sports seats with memory function, adaptive sports seats plus with 18-way adjustment, cooled front seats, a heated multifunction leader, a wide variety of interior material packages which range from leather and Alcantara to mahogany wood, carbon and aluminium, an electric slide, tilt glass sunroof, Isofix fittings for leading passenger seat. Additional technology and driver assistance options include Bose or Burmester surround sound system, LED main headlights including Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus, PDLS Plus, Porsche entry and drive keyless go and keyless ignition, front and rear parking assist, reversing camera made available, as well as a rear wiper, cruise control, adaptive cruise control conveniently obtainable, and speed limit display, blind spot monitoring and automatically dimming mirrors with light sensor. Performance and handling enhancing optional extras include speed sensitive power steering. Regular power steering is our watchy standard. Front axle lift system, to help your vehicle clear speed bumps. Porsche ceramic composite brakes, PCCB. Sports exhaust system, no extra power, but more noise. Sport Chrono package including mode switch. Porsche dynamic chassis control, PDCC, active anti-roll system. Rear axle steering. Styling optional extras include deletion on the model designation badge, Porsche as well as 911 logo painted, privacy glass, sports tailpipes, trim strips in the high gloss finish, sport design package, that includes a new front apron, front spoiler and rear spoiler, sport design exterior mirrors. If they wish, owners may also go into even bigger detail together with the interior look, finding the air vent slats, climate control panel and sports bucket seat belt passage painted. A wide array of alloy wheel, exterior paint color and interior trim colors are made available at extra cost within the standard look. Highlights add the 20-inch RS Spider design wheels and lava orange paint available of many 911 models. Other optional extras provided by Porsche UK include snow chains for your tires, decorative valve sleeves, an Alcantara key pouch, with stitching in a variety of colors, an inside car cover, a roof box, a bicycle rack and final a pull-out ski, snowboard holder. Not tested by Euro NCAP. Should still work in an accident. 2 Isofix points as standard. The Porsche 911 has not tested by Euro NCAP and in all probability never will be, at the least for this generation of car. Despite this, it must still work in an accident with 6 airbags as standard and also a strong crash protection structure. Porsche's version of autonomous emergency braking, Porsche Active Safe, PA, is offered as a possible optional extra in partnership with adaptive cruise control, although, frustratingly, is just available while using PDK automatic gearbox. Working between 18 to 130 miles per hour, it offers a superior and audible warning than automatic braking if it detects that the car is approaching the automobile in front too soon. Blind spot monitoring is additionally available, being an optional extra, as is also speed sign recognition. How many Isofix baby car seats can I fit in a very Porsche 911 Coupe? Porsche 911 models with rear seats fitted come as standard with 2 Isofix points, using the option for any third on the top passenger seat. Enough room for 2 main adults beforehand. Little inside way of space for storage. Luggage space is surprisingly capacious. Up front there's a lot of room for just 2 adults due to clever overall packaging and seats that happen to be positioned low down from the car. Plenty of adjustment within the steering wheel and seats implies that drivers and passengers of sizes should be able to have comfortable quickly. In a corner, however, it's a completely different story. Unless those in the top are below 5 foot tall, it's near impossible to obtain any adults inside back, and in case you do, they're going to have next to no headroom. Reserve these seats for either really small children or a few minutes drives later on. However, before we are too critical, it's worth considering that many on the 911's rivals, particularly if you get as much as Turbo and Turbo S spec, tend not to even offer the option for rear seats. Storage space inside the cabin is tight due to a small glove box and door pockets, plus little inside the way of other useful cubbies and trays. However, Porsche have to be applauded because of its intricate cup holder design that folds out on the dashboard within the passenger side. Despite its svelte appearance, the Porsche 911 is definitely longer and much wider than the usual Volkswagen Golf hatchback. And while visibility is good for any sports car, it could possibly prove tricky watching the 911 for your average-sized garage. Parking sensors aren't standard either, nor is often a reversing camera, so bear this at heart when spec'ing your 911. The Porsche 911 has 2 boots. The primary safekeeping is in the leading and holds 145 liters of luggage, enough to get a large soft bag along with a briefcase. It's an excellent, deep lowered be that, and not particularly wide, accommodates an amazing amount if you're smart about packaging. To access the other boot, 260 liters, one or both in the rear seats has to be folded down. This is often a fairly simple task. The theory is that, however, many users might find it tricky to contort themselves past the folding front seats and to the rear on the car to release the trunk seats.